Well, we have a new United States champion on the blue brand, and his name is Sami Zayn after defeating Carmelo Hayes via pinfall after some deliberate or ill-deliberate interference from one Trick Williams, which seemed to be kind of the highlight of the show, as well as some more stuff with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, which we will get into. So, with that, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, Friday night SmackDown edition from 3/27/26, the year of our TKO. And I am Mike, joined with Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, how did we like SmackDown as we are now 3 weeks away from the Showcase of the Immortals?
So it seems we've run over some speed bumps on the road to WrestleMania, and those speed bumps are named Carmelo Hayes, as he's now left off of the WrestleMania card. It's looking like, and kind of disappointed by that. But I don't know. I don't know. I want to say I'm ambivalent about the Sammy taking over the title because everybody by now knows my feelings for Sammy for the most part. But
They've changed
unless
a little bit. They've changed a little bit.
they have, but I need to see more of the Sammy that just randomly beat the hell out of Trick backstage and less of the underdog Sammy that we're used to. And honestly, I mean there was a ton of new stuff announced for Mania, which was expected. Some of it had more conditions to it than we thought, like the Trick Sammy. We figured that was going to be a match, but I think that Trick needs to win that. And then obviously the show overall, I really enjoy what Randy Orton's doing. I think the work that Orton is doing and the craziness that he's been showing is absolutely fantastic. And I hope WWE does right by him and gives him the win too.
Yeah, I want to talk about Trick first and the whole United States Championship scene. And then I do want to get into Randy Orton as well, because I don't think I feel the same way as you about Randy Orton. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on it a little bit. So,
Okay.
but first, let's talk about that. So, there was a backstage segment with Nick Aldis, Trick Williams, and eventually Sami Zayn, where Aldis basically was like, "Okay, Trick, you're going to be at WrestleMania." Trick was acting all pompous about it, being like, "Oh, I got to call this person, I got to call that person, blah 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 blah," right? And then Sammy, he's like, "Well, you're not on WrestleMania right now, Sammy." Which got Sammy kind of like, to walk away for a second. Then he came back and clocked Trick. And then, this obviously eventually led to, Sami Zayn getting the match against Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. And great match. Obviously, there's no way it wasn't going to be a great match. Both guys are great in the ring, especially Carmelo. He's fantastic. And, Trick was at ringside for this. He went to pick up the belt and he was gonna, tossed it into the ring, tried to get Sammy to use it, and then eventually made his way onto the ring apron, to which he was gonna go and hit Sammy, but Sammy ducked and he clocked Mello, which allowed Sammy to hit him with the hula kick for the win. So I guess my question is, did Trick do this intentionally because he wants Sammy at Mania, and or B, was it not intentional? Was he trying to get Sammy to lose?
I think it's that one. I think with the way they're feuding, it makes more sense that he'd want to rub it in that Sammy wasn't on the card and continue to antagonize him along those lines. I mean, we predicted that we were going to obviously get Sammy Trick at Mania, so one way or
Yeah.
another they were going to get there. I don't know if it needed to have the title on it. I think that honestly, I would have been fine with him hitting Sammy and Sammy losing, because then I think that justifies a Trick Sammy match at Mania still. Because if you guarantee Trick's on the card, then that gives you an excuse to put Sammy on. You know what I mean? So I feel like they could have gone either way with the way that this match went. I think, though, that if Trick wins, actually, if Trick doesn't win either, because I think you could do it either way. I think the next feud coming out of Mania for Trick is going to be Mello.
That's what I was going to ask you, right? So I would assume we're at this point, like, as bad as I feel that Melo's probably not going to make the WrestleMania card, and let me know if you disagree. Um, I would assume that that's probably the direction that we're going to go with Trick after him and Sammy are done, and maybe him and Sammy go all the way through Backlash, and then and then we get to the thing with him and Mello. Maybe Mello just takes some time off, or Mello is in the Andre the Giant match. I don't know, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think I agree. I feel like this takes Mello off the card unless they figure out a way to do some sort of other like multi-person match that he gets involved in. I think you're more correct in that he probably ends up in the Andre the Giant Battle Royale if he's not taking time off. But I 100%, like I said, I think that win or lose, you can very easily do Trick and Mello right after Mania if need be. Because you could have Mello actually come out and cost Trick the match at Mania.
Bro,
So there's
that might
there's
be the right direction to go too, because like I don't I mean I'm all in favor of Trick winning his first title, as he probably should, because he's so over, and everything else like that, and he deserves it. But at the same time, I mean, are we just going to switch up the U.S. title thing for a little while now? Because it seemed to be the only thing that was working on SmackDown, right? Was
yeah.
having that open challenge every week. And if you put that belt on a heel, that open challenge stops.
I mean, if we believe the rumors on the internet, which we all know isn't real,
The internet's a
um,
real place.
no, it's not. But if we believe like Canada, but if we uh if we believe the rumors that are out there, allegedly WWE is really big on coordinating Trick at Mania. So I would be very surprised if he did not win that title. Very surprised. I think that if WWE is as high on him as everybody's saying, including all of our favorite wrestling journalists out there, I think that I think that's the right play for them to do if they want to take advantage of him while it's hot.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I definitely think that they should take advantage of it while it's hot, just so long as the match is in the Tokyo Dome. I think it'll be fine.
6 stars.
Good stars. We did have an unsanctioned match booked for Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, which is absolutely the correct choice. I think that that's awesome. This match needed to be, no DQ, you
Blood
know,
feud.
blood feud, TLC, death match. I mean, I would have loved an I Quit match. But I mean, this is great. Like, let these guys just kill each other. This is going to be probably one of the best matches of the whole weekend, as far as just like the physicality of these two dudes. We know that Drew is no stranger to like, just going nuts, right? Like look at his Hell in a Cell match with CM Punk, right? And Jacob Fatu has already got that level of crazy in him. So I think this is 100% the right move, and I am really glad that this is not just going to be a standard match. And it gives you a perfect opportunity to write Drew off for a while, after the fact, right? Like Drew's going to take a hell of a beating in this match. They both are, but yeah, I love this. I loved everything about this.
So I believe last week we were discussing it, and I said that whatever they did for this match, it had to be something more than just a normal match.
Yep.
Like for this, the degree of hatred between these two men, it had to be something above and beyond. And to tell you the truth, I want this match to open night two. I want to start night two off with a bang, and I want this match to open night two.
So he did say, Nick Aldis did say that he specifically said the 18th for this one. So I'm thinking this maybe that was just a slip, but I'm thinking if that is the case, then this match will be on Saturday. But I don't know if that's true or not. He might have just said that, but I don't know for certain.
If even if it ends up on Saturday, I want it to be the opening match.
Yeah. What a great way to kick off the show. A
Yes,
great way to kick off the show.
I think that would be incredible.
Which takes us to Randy Orton. So Randy Orton was all over this show. He obviously came out to address, more of more of why he did what he did to Cody. Gave a little bit more backstory to that. To which he was interrupted by Matt Cardona, who just came right down to the ring, clocked him with the microphone. He went out. He fell out of the ring. proceeds to find himself backstage yelling at Nick Aldis, telling him like, "Look, I want him in the ring right now. I don't care if he's got a broken arm." Blah 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 blah. So they had an impromptu match at the end of the show, which, to no one's surprise, Randy Orton won. And then this brought out a returning Cody Rhodes, to which the two of them brawled. Cody mostly got the upper hand in this. It was a very safe pull apart brawl. There was no blood. It was fine. And before I get give me your opinion on the segment, and then I got some criticisms I wanna lay on you to hear what your thoughts are.
So I like more the Matt Cardona with Edge. I think that it's something that he brought into his character when he went back to the Indies from leaving WWE the
Mhm.
first time, when he
Mhm.
stopped being Zack Ryder and became the Indie Deathmatch King. I think that the way he came out and didn't even like try to talk to Randy and just attacked him, I was all for that. I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to stand much of a chance in the match, which is unfortunate. I think he could have put up a little bit more of a fight, but I get where they're going with it, and they want Randy Orton to look like as much of a threat as they possibly can, and that involves demolishing people. And I don't know, I think I enjoyed most of the segments.
So, are you? My first question is Orton's like the way he's cutting his promos and everything that he's kind of like digging into for this just not seem authentic like at all. It seems forced and a little scripted. And I kind of think like when I'm listening to Orton cut his promos, I kind of just think to myself, you're better than this.
Really?
Like like when I'm listening to Orton and I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, you're better than this, Randy. Like I've heard you cut better promos than this, and I think that you're better than this.
I don't know. I've been enjoying them. I mean, I liked him yelling at Cardona about being a mark. I like how they're still sort of involving Aleister Black in the background of these things. I think that I like the Randy segments where he's talking on the phone with whoever it is. I don't know. I don't think it feels that forced. I mean, it's not really anything super original for what we've seen from him because he's done this kind of like crazy, I'm just going to attack everybody out of nowhere character before. And I think maybe that's just what it is that it's something we've seen before, but he does it relatively well.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, to me, it seems a little forced.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is so much history between Cody and Randy that is not getting called upon at all. And I think you're missing an opportunity here for some storytelling. And like, I mean, there's not a ton of time left, and maybe they'll get into it a little bit, but it might be a little too late.
So
So like I don't know why they wouldn't play on that stuff a little bit sooner. They should have actually saved the heel turn for a couple of weeks as well.
so that I can agree with you on. I do think that there's a lot of no pun intended legacy
Ah,
that they could fall back on and talk about because there is a lot of history between the two of them. I
yeah,
mean, Randy was Cody's mentor,
yeah,
and like I think that the fact that they haven't really discussed that, it's all been just the more recent, oh well, I respect you and that kind of BS that started it all. I would like them to lean a little bit more into the history of them.
yeah. And I mean, and the brawl was kind of like between him and Cody was also a little bit obnoxious. Like it seemed like security, like you knew security was going to get involved, but like they just really seemed like they really kind of crapped the bed a little bit because like, Cody and Randy, like they seemed like it seemed like they were a little ill prepared for what they were trying to do there because it felt like the security almost like screwed up a couple of times and let them get to each other when maybe they shouldn't have let them get to each other. But I mean,
So
that's just nitpicking a little bit. But the whole segment just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and it felt way too forced, and I was like, if we're just gonna keep doing this for the next 3 weeks, like you can count me out. Like, I mean, I get it. Cody had to come back and we had to do this, but it's like now what do we do? Like I feel like there's not much left to do now other than just have the match, right? Like at least with the stuff with Roman and Punk, like you got all this weird stuff going on with Jey Uso now. So I get it. Like, and the one thing our audience may point out here is that Randy at the very beginning of the show, before he was interrupted by Matt Cardona, almost it seemed like he almost was going to say who was on the phone, who was in his ear. So maybe that's the direction that we go. But like it kind of feels like this story has reached its logical conclusion and it needs the match to happen now.
So, first of all, the security team obviously wasn't going to be that great. They were the B team after all. But obviously Raw gets the best security guys. But
They get
I do
actual Boston
think,
cops.
yeah, I do think that the added wrinkle of Randy attacking Jelly Roll will add a little bit more to this story because that brings him into this story now too. So I might take back my thought of there being a match that Jelly Roll is going to be in a match at Mania to him accompanying Cody out at Mania because now he's fully invested in this because he was trying to play mediator anyway, and for him to be attacked like that, he has to be involved somehow in this.
Yeah, you could be right. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to beat it down too much. It was like the whole thing was fine. I didn't hate it. Like there were some other things on this show I did not enjoy at all. But yeah, I just really don't know what to make of it. I just feel like the story is done, and like unless you start to call on outside things, or you really like, they're gonna wait, right? Like the phone call thing is either going to be the last SmackDown before WrestleMania, or it's going to get dropped.
I don't think that they could drop it. I think that whatever it's going to be is going to play into what happens at Mania
I hope you're right.
when Vince McMahon comes back and helps Randy Orton win the title.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Or Danhausen curses Cody Rhodes. God. Speaking of Jelly Roll, he had his first singles match with which he picked up a victory against Kit Wilson via a really great choke slam that looked
Yeah.
absolutely excellent. Um, I am glad that this is not on the WrestleMania card. I know I said that, I know you were kind of like thinking it was going to be initially, and I kind of was like, I felt bad initially after our podcast because I really shit all over that idea. But I'm really glad that they didn't waste a actual superstars um WrestleMania moment on this match. That being said, I still would love it if there was a segment between these two at Mania, just so Kit Wilson could get his entrance at WrestleMania. Because I think his entrance is spectacular.
So I don't think it would have been a waste to have it at Mania because we do every year get our obligatory celebrity thing at Mania. And it's usually, even if it's a celebrity match, it's short enough every year that it's not like it's the end of the world. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's
So
fair.
I could still maybe see something going on because I have a hard time seeing Miz not on the Mania card for something because
That's
Miz is literally always on there somehow.
yeah.
And especially with everything going on with both Kit and Miz now being cursed, I think that you're still going to see something along those lines, and still maybe Jelly Roll. But it was for a celebrity who had never had a singles match before. I can't crap on it. And like you said, that was a good looking choke slam. We got to see Kit Wilson's entrance and some more poetry. It was definitely a fun time. It may not have been great, but it was fun.
Yeah. So I have one more thing for the good for this show, and then then we've got some things to discuss. So the last thing that I will put into the good, and this is I want to emphasize that this is only the good because the match was really good. The booking, on the other hand, weird, and I'm not really sure I don't even want to say the booking was weird. I'm just fine with it. I just don't know why you decided to book this at all prior to WrestleMania, and that is Julia versus Tiffany Stratton. I am glad that Julia got the mostly clean win here. I mean, Kiana James kind of quasi interfered a little bit. She didn't actually touch Julia. She just sort of like walked up and like, made a face, and then Tiff allowed Julia to get time to get her knees up to get the win. Um, and it was, it was a title match, then a non-title match, then I don't really know, but I guess it ended up being a non-title match, even though they advertised it as a title match. So I'm fine with Julia actually winning something. I've said it 1,000 times on this channel, but this was kind of weird that they did this before WrestleMania. Like, why didn't you do Tiffany versus Kiana here?
Yeah.
I don't really understand. If you're gonna just redo the Tiffany Julia match at Mania and then put the belt on Tiffany, like she already lost. Like, I don't get this. I don't get any of this.
I think the only way that you do you run this back is next week or the week after you do a number one contenders match for the women's US title and she wins that because that way she wins her way back into it. She's not just handed another match, which I'm never going to complain about this because it's about friggin' time Julia got a big win.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah,
beating
absolutely.
Tiffany Stratton, I would say is a big win.
It's the biggest win on
And
the main roster so far.
yeah, so I will never complain about that. But like you said, it's
It was just
weird that
weird.
you're
It was weird.
yeah, it doesn't make sense logic wise that the woman you're setting up to most likely take the title off of Julia just loses clean like that.
Yeah.
Like if it would
And
have
I mean,
been
it was interference, but it was as clean an interference
right.
as spot as you're gonna get.
It's not like she hit her or anything. She
Yeah,
just
she didn't touch
distracted
her.
her.
Yeah.
And if she would have done more to cost her the match, like pushed her off the turnbuckle or something, I think that would have made her look stronger.
Yeah.
It just seemed like the way they decided to book the ending was kind of like out of pocket, out of place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I agree. I agree completely. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how they do this. But it just felt a little awkward to me the way they kind of threw this thing together like this. It almost seemed like maybe the plans changed or something like that because Julia did almost seem like she wasn't even prepared that she was going to get the win because of the
Yeah.
way she was like celebrating after the fact. But it's always good to see Julia pick up a win. Thank God. Which takes us to I don't know where do I want to go here. Let's go to the Bellas. Let's go to Bree mode. Let's go
Defeating the
to
clones.
what the hell happened here? Like, I get it. Do you get it now? This is going to be a four-team match for these tag team titles. These women who were in this match, the Bellas, Alexa, and Charlotte, are going to come out and somehow get themselves involved in Bailey and Lyra's shot on Monday
Yep.
for these titles. And it's finally going to just cause Adam Pearce to probably blow a friggin' vein out of his forehead to just make this a four-team match for these tag team titles. Like, and I don't want to just crap all over Naya because we do that a lot, but Naya and I don't want to blame Lash either because Lash is new. She's a rookie and her promos aren't so bad. Naya's promos are just so cringe. So like I don't know if it's like it's not what she's saying because what she's saying is
It's
fine.
the delivery.
It's the delivery and like the timing.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got to be like the lines are fine. Like the lines are just standard heel lines. You've heard a million people cut them. It's just like she doesn't have the right timing, you know? And I'm like, Naya, you're better than this.
Nia Jax's public speaking is worse than Jade Cargill's.
Like she comes across as bored almost.
Yes, it's the tone and the inflection that she takes and it's her delivery. Like
Yeah,
when we crap on Jade's promos, it's because they just suck. Like
yeah,
across the board. But you're right. Like Naya's promos, if they were delivered better, would be your standard heel promos.
Yeah, it'd
But
be fine.
you're right. Watching her deliver them, she has this like air of I don't really want to be here going on.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
And I
don't
get it,
know
that's a heel thing too, but that's a heel thing too. But
but
it's just like,
this is a case where it doesn't feel intentional.
yeah,
Like it just kind of feels like that's her personality.
yeah.
And that's not good. Like you're the champion and you need to be putting a little bit more effort into doing this right. And as far as the match, it's the match that was going on was I just
It sucked. It sucked horribly. It was
this was
the
a
Bellas looked terrible.
third week in a row of a match that had a non-ending that the Bellas were involved in. And I believe I said on Monday when we discussed how we were going to get to it that somehow during the tag team title match on Monday, either Charlotte or Alexa or Brie Mode or her clone will get involved and it will just turn into a dumpster fire. And poor Adam Pearce. Dude's gonna have a stroke on live TV.
Which brings us to Jade Berg. So I just want this to be over. We talked about this last week, and I didn't think we were going to get as half-assed an explanation as we got as to why Michin and BFAB were following her around, but it's that we want to be close to the power, and we're not going to even mention that we were just feuding with her for months and months and months, and she injured both of us, and we're not even going to talk about that, but we just want to be close to the power, and we don't like the fact that Rhea Ripley gets opportunities, even though Rhea Ripley won the Elimination Chamber. But I whatever. Rhea Ripley obviously, was gonna destroy BFAB, which she did. She did win by a disqualification after Jade attacked her, threw her into the ring steps, and they all beat her down after the fact. But like every like even the characters surrounding Jade just like it's like a vortex of just bad.
I was gonna say quicksand. It's like quicksand dragging everything around her down. So now you have Jade Cargill and the Jade Brigade,
The
and
Jade Brigade.
um, they need a faction name.
I love it. I
I
love
nominate
it.
the Jade Brigade. Um, we could call them the Nitro Girls after Goldberg, but I think that I need to think about this for a second because I know people already probably think that we just crap on Jade Cargill for the memes at this point, and I need people to understand that we aren't shitting on Jade Cargill because we want like we want to do it for no reason. Anytime you on our channel here, we try to be as honest as we can with everybody. And
And woke too. We're very woke on this
yes,
channel.
apparently, but if if something is bad, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I am 100% going to call it out.
Yeah.
And everything with Jade Cargill going back to when she was with WCW is has never been good. The one positive thing about Jade Cargill when she first started with wrestling
And
is
for
that
those of you
they,
new to our channel, we mean AEW.
yes, they, when Jade Cargill was on in AEW, they booked her correctly. They
Yeah.
booked her like Goldberg, which is why we refer to her as Jadeberg. They had her in quick matches where she dominated. She didn't talk a lot. She was in and out, and she held that title for a bajillion days.
Yeah.
WWE, for some reason, thought that bringing her in, having her skip any and all Performance Center stuff, and making her a centerpiece here was a good idea. And if anything, the last it's about a year now, right, for her? A year and a half,
Year and a half.
has proven
Well, maybe
she's,
longer. She's two WrestleManias now, right?
yeah, if anything, it's proven that she is not ready for the spotlight in WWE. She is not WWE ready. And the faster that they can get that title off of her and get her some more practice, the better it will be for her career.
Yeah.
Sorry, off
Yeah.
my soapbox there.
No, that's okay. I completely agree with you. And like I want to say like I want to say that too. And like I feel like sometimes I come across on this channel a little bit where I'm a little bit like I don't want to say too negative on certain things, but like I know what I like, right? And I know what I don't like. And you know, I don't really think that I don't want to just blame these superstars for everything too, because some of the time it's what they're given. And like you see it a lot, unfortunately, in with the women's division, where I just don't think that very many people outside of NXT do a good job booking women in general, right? Like I don't like I feel like women's wrestling should be just as easy to book as men's wrestling.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do a great job. And honestly, I mean, one of the better stories, for women, that I can think of like lately, Vince McMahon booked it. And that was the thing between Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda,
Yeah.
which was fantastic. I thought that was great, and there have been some other ones here and there that have been good, but like it's not hard to book, right? And like you don't the one thing that I will say that they don't do very much anymore, which is good, which was a Vince trope, was, oh, we're all friends and now we're enemies and now we're
Yep.
friends. And it's like women only had one story, and that's that they were friends and now they're not friends anymore. So at least they don't do that anymore and they allow some of these women to have personality. But like it just seems like WWE does not, and I don't think AEW does a good job with this either.
No.
But like I just think in general, women's wrestling is not booked well, and that's unfortunate because like there are so many talented women out there. Like, and I mean, I have been on the Julia hype train forever. Like,
Yep.
Tiffany is great. Alexa is great. Charlotte is great. Becky is great. Like, Asuka, poor Asuka. They shit all over her. Like, I
Yep.
mean, Asuka is excellent. Io Sky is excellent. Rhea is excellent. You've got so many excellent women on this roster. And it's like, in Bianca too, like, I mean, I know she's injured, but still, Bianca's got a ton of charisma. The fans love her,
Oh yeah.
so it's like, it's not hard, it's not hard. You have great characters who are great wrestlers who are over as hell. Like, let them go out there and tell a story, give them the time to let them tell a story. Like, you don't need it to be like just like six or seven guys on your entire roster who are the only ones who are allowed to tell stories.
That's the it's the just to build off that last part. It's the problem with both WWE and AEW is they have people who they like laser focus on to spotlight, and then it seems like they forget about everybody else. And that's all you see is the same story parts, which obviously makes sense because you're going to have
Yeah.
continuing stories. But a company like WWE, or hell, even AEW now, with how many people they have working for them, you have so many talented people that you could be spotlighting instead of seeing the same thing every week.
Right.
Where are all these people that are just sitting in catering? Like,
Yeah.
utilize what you have.
And you've got 6 hours a week. I mean, Netflix can go as long as it wants. And we don't count NXT. Netflix, the Raw is usually like 2.5 to 3 hours, and SmackDown is 3 hours. You literally have almost two Lord of the Rings worth of television every single week. You mean you can't make a story for 70 people
And
with main characters, right? Like,
oh,
sure. But let's use a Lord of the Rings or a Star Wars analogy for a second here, right? Like you've got, or even Marvel, right? Like you've got the Avengers, right? That's Cody and Punk and Roman and Randy and Gunther and guys like that who are always like with Drew. Like you've got the Avengers, right? But you've got a ton of people all over the place who are, you know, Shield agents and Nick Fury and,
Yes.
all of this stuff, right? Like who could be involved in things, who could contribute to things, who could be part of a larger storyline. And you just don't do that. And I don't understand that. Like I know like we're not, I'm not a professional writer, but like it doesn't seem like it's that hard to get a story together for 70 people that kind of interwebs together. And they don't all have to be like interweb to like with one another, like the men with the women, or whatever. You don't have to do all of that, but like get 6 or 7 people and like put a story together that will allow them to like do some stuff together for like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Like that doesn't seem that hard for me, you know? I don't know.
Does that make Brock Thanos?
Oh, Brock is
What do
absolutely
you think?
Thanos. Brock is absolutely
But
Thanos.
you're not wrong. Um, and it's I don't know. Like I've said it before. There, you and I playing in the video game GM mode can come up with better storylines than that writer's room can sometimes. And all it requires is a little bit of time and common sense to tell a good story, especially with the building blocks that you already have, the history between a lot of these people. And
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough because you have injuries and whatnot, but it's not that hard to tell a logical story. And they're doing it a little bit right now with Punk and Roman and everything they're doing with that. So they've proven they can do it. And hopefully, with Mania coming up, and we can hold out hope for the year as it continues as well.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I just don't think it's that hard. That's
No,
all. I don't think it's that hard. And I think you're doing a disservice to the generational talent that you have right now. You could do so much better by them. You're a multi-billion dollar company that like, instead of having 3, $4 billion, you could have 20 if you
yeah,
just did a better job with this. Because you'd sell more merchandise, you'd have more people who are over, you'd have more fans wanting to like see things and buy things and do all of this stuff. And instead of selling just Roman Reigns and CM Punk action figures, you could sell Carmelo Hayes action figures. You could sell Julia and Tiffany Stratton action figures. You know what I mean? You could sell their merch, sell their shirts at the live events and on the WWE shop. And it's like, CM Punk said it how many years ago? Vince
fix
McMahon
the
is a
verse.
millionaire who should be a billionaire,
Yep.
right? And it's like, yeah, do a better job. But anyway, I digress. So that was SmackDown overall. So an okay show. It wasn't as good as last week, but I enjoyed it. But what is your final thoughts and rating for the show?
It was for the most part an enjoyable show. It was not as good as Raw was. It continues a lot of the story building for Mania. I think they did a good job with advancing a lot of that. And so I got to give it the average still for where we're at. So I'm going to give it my 3 out of 5. And like I said, I've explained before with my rating system. If PLEs that are awesome are automatically higher, it takes a lot for a weekly show to get above average for me. Um, but we do see it sometimes. This one though was just average.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Completely average. I mean, there was some good stuff, there was some bad stuff. Again, just the women's title scene, just desperate need of a refresh. I mean, I think the Orton thing with Cody has kind of reached its logical conclusion point. I don't really want to see another pull-apart brawl, and I'm hoping, maybe we'll just get Cody by himself next week. That's probably what will end up happening, but I don't know. I need something for the next few weeks here to make me really care about this title match because I'm not as into it as I am the other one because I
Right.
don't feel like the stakes feel like as big in this match as they do in the Roman and CM Punk match. The stakes feel a lot bigger in that match. And I don't know. I'm kind of just I don't know. I don't
So
really know. I don't really know where I want to go with that. But sorry, go ahead.
would it raise the stakes for you if Randy went out next week and lit Cody's bus on fire?
I don't know. Something needs to happen though to like just to make it raise the stakes for this a little bit because this is the main belt, right?
Right.
Like this is the WWE championship. This is the main belt. So like I just feel like we need to do a little bit more with it. We need to just up the up this a little bit to make it, I don't know, just to
Here's
make it more intense, I guess. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So sorry, you were gonna say something?
here's a question for you, real quick. If Roman wins the other belt, does that automatically elevate that other belt
Yeah, it does, but it's still not the
above?
WWE. No,
Okay.
I don't think so. It's still not. It's not the WWE Championship.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a brand new belt.
Was
So
just
I
curious.
mean, yeah, I mean, maybe some people might feel differently. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below about that. But yeah, so with that, my final rating for the show is a you can look but you can't touch out of 5. So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below about SmackDown. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let us know what you think about our feedback. As always, we appreciate the support. Have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.